I began writing, I think, as a teenager, as far back as I remember, writing plays in Irish, actually, in Gaelic. I went to an old Irish school. And I just, in college, I would have written I was part of Dramsoc. And then once I became a teacher, it kind of ebbed away because I was so busy working and getting the classes prepared. And then in the last few years, I've come back to it a bit. So theatre, I would have written a lot for theatre. I have my own youth theatre back home. I've had a few different productions on in Ireland and in Dubai. And then lately, a few years ago, I wrote a book about nature, about Wicklow and the seasonal changes of Wicklow. It's kind of like each chapter is based around a month. And it's kind of my own personal love for nature and the walks with links to literature and history. It's available on Amazon, yeah, and in local bookshops, and yeah.
Well, your story was certainly very popular with the judges, and it was a very close thing between yourself and Sophie for the first prize. So it was quite an interesting concept, and I thought it really appealed to the judges. And considering there were over 250 entries, right? Even to get shortlisted is quite an achievement, but to get second place is quite.
Yeah, it's a real honour. Yeah, the story itself came to me a few years ago. I was thinking about when my father, he had dementia when I was quite young, about 23 years of age, and myself and my younger brothers and sisters would go to visit him. And I suppose anyone who's had anyone who has had dementia in their family will know that the language begins to fade with the person, and it was music was the means of communication at the end. And so we used to sing Fiddler on the Roof and old John McCormack, an Irish tenor, and like Neil Diamond, all the songs that he would have had sung to us as children. So the music became that connection. So I thought I wanted to explore that idea of music linking in with somebody who has dementia, and that's kind of where the story came from. So it was, I suppose, inspired by the experience with my father, but then it kind of went in a different direction. So the character in this story, she's a conductor, and there's this Mahler's symphony, the Das Lied von den Erde, as the connecting piece between herself and her friend who comes to visit her. And Eva's reality is linked in with the piece of music, Mahler's piece of music. It's about nature and the idea of mortality and the slipping away. So the last line in the story, the Ewig, which means forever, forever. It's that kind of bond between the two ladies.
So, Sean, what's next?
What's next? I'm finishing my collection of short stories. I've one more to go, and I would like to send them around and see, if it's possible to get that collection published. I've also finished a radio play that I've entered into a competition, RTE playwright competition back home. It's a 40-minute length radio competition. And from there, we'll see where it takes us. It's getting time at the moment is the issue.
Well, thanks very much for joining us at the Literary Festival.
Thank you.
Coming all the way over from Ireland to
Well, it's been an honour. It was really, really special. Thank you so much, Ted.